We have a so-called town meeting. I started with this idea for tonight. If you guys, I don't know, whoever was here at the council meeting when I stated it last, that everybody in town doesn't have a way to really talk and really let us know. I mean, we're working for you guys, period, bottom line. And if we don't hear you or listen to you or have a way to get there, you guys work during the day, we're only here one night a month. And then we got a schedule, we got stuff to get through. We can't let everybody talk about every subject, it's crazy. So I thought, well, I know I go to other mayors and mayors meetings and all that, all the way from here to Nick's, you name it, everywhere. Topliff likes, he has coffee with the mayor. And no, I'm not going there, we're not having coffee with that. But he says people come in and tell him things and come up with ideas and or yell at him, whatever, or complain about stuff. He says he gets more information that way than any other way, any other source. Especially because it's trusting, you're hearing it right from people. Not on a computer, not on paper, not on anything else. You're hearing what they feel, what they want. And if he can answer the questions, he tries to, he does, etc. But he brings it to council and goes from there. I said, man, that's fantastic. That's what we got to do. So I'm going to try to do this, as far as I know, I'm going to do this 1 hour before every normal council meeting, no emergency meetings. So that, I don't care if there's one person here, I'll still be here at 5 o'clock. We'll talk about whatever, whether the sky's falling or whatever it is. Anything good, bad, etc. So, well, the latest subject here, and usually, you guys will bring up the subject, but I know I have what they call a petition on hiring a city manager and a letters to the city council members. A proposal that we should hire a financial officer. And that person obviously did a little homework because, and probably even asked the personnel in City Hall, what do we need? What are we lacking? Where's our weak link? What's up in there? And that's true. We could use a professional financial person with a certificate on the wall that we can hold accountable that, hey, budget's balanced, you said we can spend $3 million on this, now we can't, what's up? You can't hold people liable, responsible if they're not in that trade. But yes, I think that would be great, but not, the city isn't big enough to have a full-time financial, get one. All we need is a consultant. A consultant would be fantastic, and that's just what this letter says, and I think that person got it right on the nose. That's what City Hall would have liked, is just give us a consultant to call every now and then when we need it. We'll get them to sign off on it and say, yes, you guys are right, no, you guys are wrong, you forgot this, or that's the wrong procedure. Great, just like when we have an attorney here at our normal meetings. We're not attorneys, we're just doing what best we know. She's supposed to correct us and say, whoa, that takes the ordinance. No, that just is a resolution. She can tell us what's what. So that's pretty cool. This so-called petition, I don't know if it's a petition or a survey. That's hard to say in between the two. Because it was about as fair as you can get. Hire a city manager, yes or no. Hire a part-time financial officer for budgeting and finances, yes or no. Hire administrative assistant to the mayor and operations manager for paperwork and HR, along with a part-time financial officer for approximately the same cost as the city administrator. That's all debatable in there, but yes or no. It's not biased, it's not one-sided. That was cool. I know that the people that circulated this all over, we got a lot. I don't know, we had 80 at the first meeting. I don't know how many we have now. And we definitely have a problem with what the people in town that are responding to this think the city needs and what the city board needs. I'm the chairman of the board. I'm the board. Yeah, you can yell at me. Blame me. I'm part of it. I'm not scapegoat here. I'm not saying that I don't blame me, blame them. It's us. If I can't keep it together, if I can't keep us on the same page or convince everybody of something, I'm guilty too. We're there. And the second part to that is, if they all vote to do this and not that, I'm going to back them. We're going to do this. That's my job. We're doing it. Let's go. You say we're going to do it. Let's do it. Let's see how it goes. See what happens. And I'll do it. Because I will do my job both ways, either way. So, I basically want to hear what you guys have to say. I think that's all that I have to say.
Are you aware, had there been a financial officer in place, how much money that would have saved the city between preparing for the audit and the audit?
An audit, according to the other mayors, is about $16,000 a year.
How about $106,454?
No, I'm saying in-house audit, when you have a financial officer. Wait, see, back up.
Right,
You said
okay.
what we would have saved. A normal one with city with a normal, with a financial officer to handle it, then the audit is only $16,000 a year. Our audits that we did get are
35,000 something,
35,
but you had to pay somebody
plus another
$70,000
yes,
to get
yes.
them ready. So the
Yes.
audit in theory costs
So ours did cost that, yes.
$106,454 to the city of Mountain View.
Yes,
Why so much?
because they had to go back 2 years, and we had, before this board came along, the previous mayor and board had hired a lady that was very good at what she was doing, actually. I forgot what company she worked for.
But why did they even have to hire her?
Because,
Because things were not
right, they were not in order at
in
all.
order
Right.
when they took over.
Right,
This is
Right.
not a new problem.
nope,
This is a long-term
Right.
problem.
It's
Right.
just coming to light.
yes, this
No.
is, it was inherited by each administration.
When we took over, the books was in such a mess, and John can verify it, and we hired Linda Higgins, and she come in and went, I don't know how she did it, but she went through every book, and she'd go to Don, no, you can't do that, no, you can't do that, we can't afford that. And we had to toe the line. And then our auditor cost us $8,800.
Because everything was in order when you,
Whenever he come in, the auditor come in, Linda did a lot of the financial paperwork, so he had paperwork there, and so he just had to go through the financials. But it cost $8,800. Plus, Linda got grants. How many grants did she get, John?
Well,
A lot.
yeah, I'm not gonna go into all the,
Right.
there was a lot there that should have been gotten that we never really received.
But-
Yeah, she was working on it.
To the price of the audit and to the audit done, to the general public that is in this room, does everybody know what the recommendations of the audit were?
nope,
Recommendation, we realize that because of the limited resource and personnel management, you may not be able to achieve proper segregation of duties. However, our professional standards require that we bring this lack of segregation of duties to your attention in the report. The repurpose is the limited number of available personnel prohibits segregation of incompatible duties, and the city does not have resources to hire any additional accounting personnel.
She read that word for word, that's our audit, we just basically invested over 100 grand in. And that is,
So has the council members all read this audit?
they all have it for a long time,
they
a
haven't.
couple months.
So they have had it since
So-
they're
No
wanting to
meeting already.
hire an administrator, like they have read that there are no funds.
That
They
I
still
can't say
wanna
what I
hire.
read.
What is the credit status of Mountain View, Missouri? What is our credit status?
But we don't have a problem, we're good, but I don't know what it is.
We don't have a problem paying our bills, but we're high risk to borrowing money.
No, because we didn't have a hard time when we did the alley project. We didn't have a hard time at all, and we got a pretty good interest rate, so we were still looking pretty good. And
How
we
long
didn't have
So-
ago
problems.
was that?
Pardon?
How long ago was that?
Last spring? Yeah, January through March, we were getting the loan. Yeah, now, since then, I don't know.
And does everybody in this room realize there is a subsidiary payment that is paid from what they call the polar vortex? That there is funding that was obtained, it's kind of like a loan was given to the city of Mountain View, and they make a payment on that, and they're gonna be paying on that for eons. So if we have another one of those polar vortex this winter, and we have that, the likelihood of us getting a second deferment for a financial multi-million, for $700-800 million is not gonna be highly likely.
We're on payment 29 of 60.
So what does that mean?
It means any extra funding we have, we need to really be applying it and watching what we're doing. And if the auditor says we don't have money to hire additional financial personnel, you're gonna add somebody to the city that is gonna cost the city $100,000+ by the time you get done paying medical, vacation time, whatever, retirement.
If they're gonna pay him $80,000, it's gonna be $118,600.
And you were not able to pay the employees that had been promised. And I realize that's a board council decision, but I am worried about the employees of Mountain View, Missouri that we have spent and that have been loyal to this and have spent time training and furthering their education and learning how to do more. They've stepped up to the plate and basically they've got slapped in the face. So you're gonna hire a city manager when you couldn't give them a full cost of living raise? If I was the employee, I'd just say, well, I guess I'm going to Willow or wherever that's gonna pay me a decent wage and cares whether I come to work or not.
I was informed today that one of our crew had just applied at West Plains.
They're gonna
Call on
be,
this,
they're gonna be leaving.
recommendation.
On that vortex, on that big freeze in Texas, that we had that $800,000 bill, the council all voted that the city absorbed that. Well, when it happened and Willa had to pay their bill, Willa passed, their council passed that each customer would pay an additional $10 every month on their bill, and that's how they paid theirs back. Well, we absorbed it. So if it happens again, the city won't have no choice but to pass it on to us citizens in Mountain View to pay that high bill. And on top of that, next year, in '24, they're gonna have another bill that's gonna cost them about $1,400 a month on all the new golf carts. And the golf course out there, because that was an extended loan that starts in 24. So that's gonna be an additional loan that they're gonna be paying from 24 to 30 probably.
Yeah, the audit, you just read from, basically boils that all down to, we don't have the extra funds because we gotta be careful what, like you're saying, what's gonna come down the pipe, we don't know.
Well, John,
That
I
commitment.
got a copy of the bank statement, and we had $599,800 and some dollars in the bank. We deposited $642,000, and we wrote out checks for $617,000. So we kind of broke even on our deposits, and so that still left us like $600,000 in the bank. So you're not gaining ground, so
Right.
why would you add another $120,000
Right,
a year on
right,
it?
we only have so much of a buffer.
Right,
And that buffer is only 1 month buffer.
right.
That's it.
And I went into, most cities require a 3-month. It is advised that all cities have a 3-month cushion. Right now, after spending 2.5 hours in the office with Kelly, the approximate payroll for the city of Mountain View comes out to about $165,000 a month. By the time we add that in with any raises or increases, which should be coming because of the end of the year, where's any additional funding gonna come? And then we've had the go back and forth about the dump stations and the water. And some of that was approved, we cashed in a CD to cover part of that, so that we can buy it at a certain time, and if you didn't know, there was a CD cashed in, because if you don't watch the videos, then the general public doesn't come. So now we've already taken one of the city's assets, which is a CD, and cashed it
That
in.
CD originated before me, and it was strictly for the pool.
But I'm just
So that is
saying,
what, we had to have that earmarked, and in order to accept the $300,000 reimbursement from the state, I believe, state parks, we have to have that money for the pool, we're matching funds. So that wasn't really in our kitty for any other use. It was
Okay.
already committed and matched, what, 3 years ago?
Is
Something
the
like that, for a
airport
quote.
self-sufficient?
Self-sufficient?
Does the
We
airport
don't
pay its
make
own bills?
money on it, no, it doesn't. It's
Make
making
money
money
on
on
the
the fuel,
Just on the fuel.
about it. There's no real money to be made there.
But does it cover the expenses? Does it cover the mowing and the upkeep? And does the money from the fuel
I think
cover?
it's-
Any
that.
question?
Pardon?
That's an Eddie question.
Yeah, Eddie runs the airport. I'm gonna say no, but I don't know that.
Stetson says it's
The
close.
airport is paid for, through transportation tax. Our transportation tax is a restricted fund, and,
Oh, they have plenty in that, because they don't use it for the roads.
and
Amen.
the transportation tax is only supposed to be used for the street and the airport. I don't know what's going on there now, but the money that we made off the fuel pretty well paid for the hours of the guys that mowed the,
Did the maintenance?
did the maintenance on it. It kind of broke even, because you got hanger rents,
Yeah.
get the rent.
I'm asking that because the HVAC is on the agenda tonight for the regular council meeting. So we're getting bids for that. Is there money to cover that too?
What was I there?
The, heating and air, like for the airport because they've been running on emergency heat.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, good point, but yeah.
Were there 3 bids gotten? Are there normally 3 or 4 bids gotten for city things? Or
Yes.
just one?
Yes.
We try to
He
get
has
3
3.
minimum.
He does have 3. It is on the agenda to discuss tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, because with that, we've got pilots coming in, they fuel up, et cetera, and the fuel part does make us decent money, the fuel. But that's about the only thing, other than hangar rent, and hangar rent's not that high, so.
Well, the airport's an asset, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
Don't the airport get some money? Because I thought I was at a meeting where
Oh,
they
we
said
did.
you get a yearly, so much yearly for
For
that
MoDOT.
airport,
From MoDOT.
Yep.
from MoDOT. Yeah, I thought so.
Yep.
How much, that was 100 and something.
Those are for the large improvements, et cetera, to maintain the runway, lighting, et cetera, like that. Stuff that we couldn't even afford to do.
It's a grant that MoDOT gets every year, the airport gets from MoDOT, I should say.
I remembered that, and it had to be spent there, but I
Yes.
don't remember the details.
And John, I know there's transportation tax. Why, with the transportation tax that I know comes into the city, why are roads always declining instead of ever being fixed?
Two reasons right now that I know of being here. One is the roads were built shoddy to begin with because nobody had money and they just wanted to get houses up and get gravel in and get some, what do you call the, not the pavement, the other one.
Chip and seal.
Yep, chip and seal down so that they can have some kind of roads. And then we, people that come in here in the last 25, 30 years, sit here and say, wow, these roads are crummy. It's like, well, if you lived here 50 years ago, you'd have said these roads are great, even with the potholes. So it's not built on a foundation where you can actually pave over. We can't even pave over those roads. So it's expensive. We have to actually tear them out and put in pavement. We do not have a base for real roads around here, the majority of the roads. And then
Okay,
so we are constantly being reactive on a road department. There's a pothole, go patch it. Pothole, go patch it. Don't build anything new. We've got so many sewer and water lines that need to be replaced that if we put money into rebuilding a new road, it's gotta be a road that we know has new water and sewer lines under it already. It's all set, we don't have to tear it up.
so why has that never been done on any of the roads that have any water?
I don't know, never, but right now, we don't have a lot of money, but we don't put a lot of money into a major road job yet because we're working on a $4.25 million grant that'll take care of the sewer and majority of sewer. It ain't gonna take care of all of it, but it's gonna take care of the majority of the sewer problems in the city. And then we can start paving over them, so we're good for another 25, maybe 50 years. So
John,
basically,
It's
we
the
don't
same-
do it twice.
That's the same story I've been hearing for the last 8 years.
I agree, I heard it
I
too.
mean, it's one of those deals, I don't even get a different verse. I
Doesn't
just
my,
keep right on
You're
going
right.
with the same
I agree.
old story.
Same thing. And I'm speaking it, but I'm only speaking it from what I know, what we are actually doing. Not,
I
I'm
live
not
over on
sugarcoating it,
Washington.
not exaggerating it. Yes?
I live over on Washington Street, and I've been told that our pipes are like asbestos pipe. Is that true?
No, it's paper. They're actually paper pipes. It's compressed paper.
but it's
We're
got
really old.
asbestos in it, check with DNR.
They could have traces in it, but it's not a big deal. It's
So is
nothing.
that something the DNR needs to be called in on, so
They
they can
wouldn't.
test it?
They're nothing. All of our water's been tested everywhere. over and over again. There's no asbestos in our system, there's no lead. We're doing a $200,000 survey right now, almost as we speak, to check everything out.
Do you
we
do
get.
that every so often for
Great.
the water?
Yep.
Yeah, the state does that.
Now, those ones under Washington Street is the actual very old compressed paper one, and it just keeps on slitting, and that's why we gotta keep tearing the road up. It's like, don't fix it, just gravel it for
That was
now,
one of the first
because we have to put it in.
residents.
Yep,
over
and that's on the high priority of the part of the grant of the water.
On
Yeah.
on Washington,
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
side.
that'll be all brand new. You know, history.
When
Do
are they gonna
any-
start that?
The way grants go and in real experience, like he says, we keep hearing things, I'm gonna say it'd be well over 2 years from now.
So the people in Washington's gonna have to drive on that gravel street and for
We'll
2
all
more
be
years?
driving.
I have a huge pothole right, you've been to
Well,
my
that, call
house,
in,
right in the front.
call
of
in the
my-
potholes, we will keep patching, we're reactive there, that's all we can do right now.
Every time I go over, I think I hit somebody.
We
Like,
can't put 80,000 into one road just to make it half nice, and then the other roads are the same way, and then tear it up 2 years from now. You know,
I have one more question.
okay.
I would like to know why we have a community betterment club in Mountain View. I would like to know why the president of that community betterment club can run down businesses and the community in our town, and there's no repercussion for it.
Oh, that's
Yeah, we all
called freedom of
be grateful.
speech. And I'm sorry, but freedom of speech works both ways. Against us, for us, you name it. I hate it in those ways, in those terms I hate it, I don't hate it otherwise. But yeah, there's nothing built in. Our government's wrestling with that right now. And someday
Well, I
there
just
will be
think it's-
rules there.
Pretty crappy, because at our other town hall meeting, our first one that we had, there were 7 business owners in that meeting, and she not only run down the people from our community, but also the business owners from our community.
Is there nothing that the city can do to de-incentivize her acting in such a way? Like, is she
She
connected
does
to the
have
city
a
at all?
board that's over.
Or is that all
it's in
private?
Jeff
If
City.
if a private person suffered damages and could prove it in court, they can sue that person.
But nothing like the city can't
City
do?
has
I didn't know
nothing.
if the city was connected to the betterment at all.
No, but they are
So
connected to the, I believe, the organization of the Better
At
Committee,
Jeff
and I
City.
found out today at Jeff City, they can be reported and they can have their betterment status revoked.
So how do we do that?
Well, you know,
Call Jeff City, but wherever she just talked about.
I'm working on that.
I mean, our youth center was turned in to the health department, and then today our community center, and it was the same person that called. And she's already started rumors about all that stuff. I mean,
well, you know, with the exact same person, I've got a real dilemma that I've wondered with her husband, who is supposed to be all for the city, sitting on the board, owns a business that's within the confines of the city limits, but is not part of the city limits.
But his house is.
Yeah, his house is, but the business which is next door isn't. Is that part of, I mean, why is the city not collecting taxes on that? And is there a way that the city can force that to be annexed? And why not, why can't he be forced to be annexed?
There isn't rule, it's only condemnation, that condemnation law is the only way.
I
Why do
mean,
you think Champs is building out there on the corner?
yeah, I mean, that's really ridiculous, that, if he's supposed, he says that he's for the city, and she says that she's all for the city, well, why, and he uses a lame excuse, I've heard it, that, well, I have a shooting range. Well, there are, oh, doggone it, I had the word just a second ago. It's an exemption that you can have put into it as you're doing. The city, I
You
mean,
can
every major
amend
city,
the ordinances, yeah.
right, I mean, every major city has shooting ranges inside the city limits. He can have the same thing put in there, but, if you care about the city and you own a business that's in the city, you will be incorporated into that city.
You don't want to pay taxes.
well, what has
Yeah,
he
you
done
don't
so
pay
good for
taxes.
our
Well, there's no
city since
difference
he's
in
been on the
taxes.
council?
I know, but
Only when you
Oh,
sell
yeah.
stuff. When you sell
he
stuff,
saves
sales
money
tax.
by not being in there.
Sales tax.
Yeah, his property tax on that building's cheaper, because he lives outside, yes, it is. His building is outside the city limits, his taxes are cheaper outside the city limits than they are inside. John, I got a friend that's got a 40-acre farm. He pays less in taxes, property tax, on that 40-acre farm than I do my little acre and a half plot in Mountain View.
Absolutely, agriculture, yes.
So
Yes,
that's why he done it. And, you know, like I have asked to be zoned outside the city limits. And I was told by your city attorney that will never happen because the city's not gonna lose you. But the law also states that if you're zoned, if you have it on, if you're bordered by two sides of your property is bordered by outside the city limit land, you don't even have to ask the city council or the zoning committee. Because the state says if you're zoned by two, you can be outside the city limits. And then again, she said, no, you can't. But
It depends a lot on the
it
ordinance.
depends on the people
that.
sitting up there
Oh, yeah.
and sitting on the zoning committee,
Number one,
who
yes.
and what they're gonna let do.
And you could take
And
that,
just like our roads,
yeah.
they're horrible because the people patching them holes don't know what they're doing. They'll go out, I followed them one day. They have a blower to blow the hose out. And then they're to put oil down. And then put the patch down, and then tamp it down, which they have brand new tampers, but I guess they don't fit their hands, because they don't tamp them down. So they just take it, rocks and all that's in the hole, and just throw that cold mix on top of it, and then just drive off. They don't tamp it down or nothing. That's why it comes out. You know, I mean, you gotta
They
train
got
your
too many
people
to
right.
fill, or they can't spend a lot of
That's
time
right.
on one.
And they don't have the money because they're giving it to other departments.
Unfortunately, she's right. It's
And
just-
another pet peeve of mine, while we have an officer in there, why don't they ever patrol out W Highway in the city limits? We have people flying by there 60, 70 miles an hour. Instead of, they will sit down here and park at Foster's back in there
With
trying
the
to
lights
trying to catch people at that stop sign. They're more worried about catching our people in town than they are doing their job.
I'd like
We
to
rode
know
a
that-
72 there yesterday. I did-
Where? On
W.
W? I didn't see you out there at all on W, inside
It
the
was
city
about-
limits.
It was about 11 o'clock last night.
I'd like
Last
to know
night.
what's gonna happen.
I think I would've probably heard
there
a
is
siren.
Does that truck ever wake you
Well,
up?
there is a
Stetson, coming off of
video
Jake
floating
Rankin?
around Facebook of the cop throwing the girl up against the wall by
Yeah,
her
that-
neck at the car wash.
That's-
Scared me to
watched
death
the
the other
video
morning,
and I-
4 o'clock.
Where
Watch
the cops
body
couldn't,
cams, and
What's going on?
we're having a conference on that tomorrow morning, so what's
Our
under
police department needs to
investigation,
do
we
their
can't really.
job too.
So what's gonna happen when that family sues the city? Cause I know that's,
I
Probably
can't
gonna
really
happen.
tell you anything at this time,
I
but,
mean, I think it's just kinda crazy.
We're
that they
taking it up
fired
on-
him and then rehired him.
and I told her that, as far as I'm concerned, I start out neutral. But if you show me something that's on your side, I told her, I got your back. You know, no problem, it doesn't matter who, if Stetson did it wrong, it didn't matter, I'll go and say Stetson,
Never
you
heard anything
screwed up.
bad about Stetson.
No.
But,
But
but
they
there's
need
no
to
problem
control
with
it
that,
in just one
but it's
spot.
gotta be
Come on,
proven.
Stetson, pick it up.
It's gotta be proven which way is which, and all of us have
Up to the
agreed
plate.
to meet tomorrow morning, and we
I
are
was just
working on that.
curious.
We're working on it. I personally, if I give you this much, I think it's gonna be resolved.
Sorry, Stetson, I didn't mean it.
I wanna give some more people a chance to talk.
Am I to understand that you could actually make if the city council agreed, you could make the decisions that a financial officer or a city administrator would?
My job is to appoint, but with the consent of the board.
Okay.
See, I'm supposed to go along with the advice and consent of the board.
I don't think that's what she's asking.
She's asking if you have the
What
same,
does-
if you have the same job duties as what the city administrator.
Can you do
my
everything a
duties-
city manager does?
Oh, we are doing it, yeah. I say we, because I'm not doing it by myself. I'm only putting in about 30 hours a week. And we have Sarah and Eddie, our operations manager, doing the rest.
But
They're
that
doing the
still
majority of it.
meets all the legal requirements.
Oh, yeah, no
And my
problem. The only little catch-22 there is, we don't have someone titled that designated name. And one of my offers to the board has been, and will be again tonight, is, okay, let's change his name from operations manager to administrator. He's doing that job anyway.
And he
Yeah.
has been for a long time.
Yeah.
And my
He's
question
doing a good job.
He's
is,
very good at
Look
it.
at you changing-
On
and
this.
he's dang good at his
If
job.
we lose him, Mountain View is,
Kelvin was, Kelvin.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
I'm
on
just
the-
saying.
Some of the answers for the road and the tax money that comes in off of that, I've been around Mountain View a number of years.
We know Jesus.
I watched the city of Mountain View pay for everything in Southern Hills. All the roads, all the sewer, all the water. So that set the city back quite a little chunk of change. I mean, years. You'd have to go through the books. Now, my understanding on a big percentage of it is, okay, yeah, they do have a fuel tax. But probably what ends up happening as far as budgets and whatnot that goes, it's just put into general revenue funds. In other words, it says, well, we have $220,000 to work on streets. Well, that's put in general revenue fund, and then at that point in time, then they put back out to $220,000 for the street crews. You gotta pay salaries off of that, you have to do this, so that leaves very little money to pave a street. And I mean, years past.
Done it in past
Still go for
years.
streets only.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
it-
that gas tax only goes for streets.
Yeah, only streets.
Well,
That's it.
but also at the
And
same
airport.
time,
And airport.
and airport. I mean, you say that, but
It does.
7 years ago,
Oh.
when there was another city administrator here, I didn't see that money getting spent there. I mean,
I can only say what I know.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm
We're
saying,
doing
I'm trying
for a
to
year
back
and a
it
half.
up and try to show that over the years, it's not been spent there. It's been spent other ways.
Yeah.
Wrong, wrong.
It
Well,
can't
you
be
can
years
say
ago.
wrong
It
all
can't be
you
spent.
want, but the thing is what happened to it 3 years ago?
It was in the bank.
Well, it
And
was
they
in the bank,
spent,
but
and
where
they
did
spent
it
how much
go?
on
That's
asphalt?
the new administration.
Well, no,
Okay,
I'm
they get-
asking right now,
they
3 years
get-
ago.
They get around $305,000 a year.
Okay, so where did that money go to?
For wages.
3 years ago,
For equipment.
okay? So that did not put any blacktop down whatsoever.
Yeah, they did. They
Yeah, they
fixed
did.
Michael's,
They went all the way
Michael
from Michael Steele Road at the end, all the way past Bob Tate's old place out there?
no. That
Okay,
was county. Michael Steele, when you go down part way, it was all gravel halfway back,
Yep.
all the way around. Okay, they laid that. What is the little street off of James Street? Stetson up
The
there.
dead end street?
The little dead end street.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
they
the gravel
surfaced
part way.
that.
okay.
But you would be surprised.
Oh, I know
now.
what it costs, I mean, I understand,
Right.
but what I was getting at was that money
Was
literally is being spent for equipment and for employees, not just, if you took $300,000 and said blacktop only, yes,
Good point.
but you
Yeah.
also pay employees and equipment out of that 300,000.
Right.
Right.
So therefore, if you spend 150,000 for equipment and employees, that only leaves $150,000 to pay something with.
And it don't take much
And it
time.
doesn't take, but, I don't know, that might do a mile, maybe, but I have my doubts.
But if that mile was done each year.
Every
it would
year
have
it's
been
You
so
can see the
caught up
problem
that
is,
there
when
hasn't
you
been
back it
anything.
up 7 or 8 years, for the last previous city administrator, that money was not being spent that way.
Which,
Right.
the past city administrator is proving that there was a misappropriation of funds from the general fund.
Bingo.
That was a big
Right, we don't know, but
We don't
it's in the
know.
past.
Yes.
What,
But
to
it was
solve
before
that,
you.
because that's what we're trying to do as our administration.
Right.
I ain't pointing blame.
Yeah, I'm not pointing blame at anything,
We've
I'm
got-
just saying that,
Right here tonight in our next meeting, hopefully, we'll be getting approved, one of these two contractors, engineers actually, engineering firms. And we're working on a $500,000 grant strictly for the streets every 6 months. And we didn't even have, we didn't want to risk the 25.
Is that a matching grant or is that a grant grant?
Copay, you have to have 25,000 copay with each of the, every 6 months. But the Jack's Fork Community Foundation volunteered to pay that.
Okay.
So we have that in process, we don't have it in the bank, and I ain't saying it's gonna be, it is done, guaranteed, but we are working right on that, so that, because that 300,000, is that about what we get a year?
Yeah.
It's not enough to keep up, like you're saying.
right.
You can't fill the potholes and pave streets at the same time, and pay for the employees and the
Okay, we're
equipment.
back to that money thing again. There's not enough money, there's not enough money, there's not enough money.
Yeah, for some
My
reason, that's what the
question
audit said.
Is there any, yeah, the audit says so, is
But
there
they need to quit
anyone
spending.
that is applied for the city administrator's job that has a financial certification that is CPA certified, that knows finance,
No.
then why the heck would you spend the city's money to hire somebody that does not? When that is one of the top 5
That's easy,
requirements
because-
of a city
Because the 4
administrator.
people that were voted in decided so.
That doesn't
Is
matter.
there-
You're
They need to be
not-
voted out.
Why don't they do it for me?
That's
I'll
my
do it for
next
half of what
question,
they're
how do you
putting
get a new board member?
Not a volunteer.
Member.
I
Go ahead.
I do have a question.
Change your vote come
I
April.
was,
Yeah,
I was speaking
change
with, I was speaking to someone that was directly kind of intertwined with the city, and they were talking about the raise for the city employees.
I can't hear it, there's a question.
And,
I'm sorry.
they said that there's an argument going on versus a merit-based raise versus a percentile raise on the city workers.
Oh, there's a lot of discussion on it.
And I was just wondering.
I haven't even argued with them on a raise at all yet, at all. Not in open session, not in closed session.
Because,
The only argument I've had in regards to finance money for payment to the employees has been cost of living allowance.
gotcha.
That's the only argument I brought up, and they keep arguing with me that, about raises. I said, no, I'm not even thinking about that, don't even think about raises right now. But that night, at the meeting, all I want to talk about is cost of living allowance.
Mhm.
I said, the federal government said it's 8.7%. We put together the budget, it's a 6-month budget because we're changing the fiscal year to January from now on instead of July. So our 6-month budget, we added in 10% in it so that we cover the wages.
Mhm.
10%.
Yeah.
We had a little buffer there, which would hopefully go for raises. At the next meeting, we'll discuss that. And merit-based, percentage-based, that's all up for discussion. But right now, all we've ever discussed and argued about is cost of living allowance.
Gotcha.
And they insisted we couldn't afford to give the 8.7 that the federal government said everybody took a cut on this past year. In other words, if you're making $10 an hour last year, you're only making 9-something this year.
Yes.
And you're expected still to make your payments and pay for the gas and your groceries.
My worry,
So
just,
we would argue that.
yeah, just to kind of put it in your about, because I heard that from the person who I spoke with, they were saying that the council was very much in favor of a merit base versus a percentile raise. Don't know if that's true or not, but my only fear there is like linemen's, as a state
Right.
average, they get paid a lot more than, say, different jobs. And, if you give a merit-based raise, one, what do you judge off of? And two, are you gonna say our linemen, we need those? And would it de-incentivize them to stay within our town and go seek employment elsewhere, just for the simple fact that they didn't get that across-the-board raise that would be fair for each job?
Yes, yes. And to me, the ground floor is, start with your cost of living,
Yep.
which should have been 8.7%. Somehow, I don't know where, I won't say too much about it. I try never to, I'll tell you right now, I try not to embarrass anybody else on our council or anybody we work
You're
with.
very
and
kind most of the time.
We just, hey, yeah, they do it themselves.
Thanks for doing this.
But they, somewhere, somebody pulled a number out of somewhere at 3.4%. So, and they all agreed to it, like, okay, where the heck did that number come from? And I didn't see anybody doing any figuring, but that's what it come to, and okay, I'm doing my job. They said yes, due to that, I'll go for it, we give them the raises. Well, not raises, the cost of living allowance, which was less than half of what the government says it was in the past 12 months.
And what's stopping them from going through with the COLA raise for the cost of
Because
living?
they wanted.
We had 10% in the budget.
And they just,
They-
but we do have the money for.
They're saving the money for something else.
I got you. And another thing I wanted to ask on that note is from a source that I had. They said they were pushing for the city administrator position because they need to know a budget for 2024. Then is the raise not incorporated into the budget as well?
It's their job. That is their job to do
If
the
the
budget.
city administrator isn't versed in finance, how can they do a budget?
Well,
Right.
exactly, but that's
So,
the excuse I got
The
was,
three of us have already got the budget in process, and we're gonna present it to the board probably next month, I hope.
so that wasn't true, like they were wanting a city administrator to make a budget for 2024.
And I'm not gonna pick on any of the three people.
No, yeah.
And I'm not even gonna mention those three people's names.
Yes,
You don't mean
But I personally know that none of those three could put together a budget for the next 90 days even. You can't, yes, you can't. A professional, I don't care how experienced you are, you're not gonna walk in and know everything the city's doing in any less time than that. It would take that much, and we'd be into the next fiscal year, of course. So, yeah, it's up to us to put it together just as we've been doing, Eddie, Sarah and I, and then with the help of our staff, treasurer, et cetera, and we put it together, and then we bring it to the board, and the board hopefully approves or asks good questions and tweaks it, no problem. You know, well, back them, let's go.
Yep.
That's what they decide.
Well, if you remember, John, whenever we took over, of course, we took over 1st of June because of COVID, and we had a city administrator making $97,000 a year. He handed us a budget that would have put us $1.4 million in the red.
I think that's one of the main things about hiring someone qualified for that.
Cliff, you-
Yeah, is there a city ordinance against Jake breaks? I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
yeah.
Yep,
Yes.
and there's a sign up there by my
There
house.
was noise ordinance.
I can answer that. They can't uphold them because of MoDOT, because it's a safety thing. But I have approached Jamie, and they've got a noise ordinance out your way off of
The
W.
cops ain't ever out that way. so-
Well, it don't matter. If they put those signs up, my understanding is that the Jake break thing, they could get them for if they're setting it off, because I know all about it, because I have a trucker that loves to do that, coming off of 17, and I could do the same thing and tell them they could catch people going 60 down through there, but that's up to them what they
But they're too worried
do.
about over by McDonald's.
So, but
You can have.
otherwise,
you
John,
can
I
have-
gave you a list of questions earlier today from a business owner, and if you would address just a few of those or whatever you want to do on them.
I hit our treasurer with those questions. She answered 95% of them, I think. Kelly answered most of them. And she said she'd be here tonight.
She's gonna be
She
here at
meant
6.
at 6 o'clock. So I was ready to have her answer those questions
Okay,
for you.
that's-
But she did put together the answers, so we will have it. And if necessary, we
We
can do
can
it
ask
during.
them during my budget time.
Yep, we'll have her.
She
Not a
can
problem at all.
take care of it.
Yes,
Yes, I want to follow up on this Jake break thing. I talked to one of the officers and informed me that about this MoDOT decision that because it was a safety device on the vehicles that they couldn't outlaw it. However, zoned residential street, it would require the council to pass an ordinance to keep them from using that Jake break in a residential zoned area. Now, Pine Street is all residential. There's only 2 businesses, one at one end, one at the far end at the other end. And when you live on Pine Street, on where I live, but just down the hill, there's some trucks, and it doesn't seem right, but there's some truck drivers that come down there very quietly using their pedal brake and their trailer brake and doing everything right. And there's others that come down there just blasting away. And to me, it's it's ruining the quality of life, okay? So my question is it possible for the council to pass some kind of ordinance for residential areas?
I personally don't think so because of the safety issue. I think that, and I'll let Assistant Chief Stetson help me out here. And this is just a brainstorm. If you were to pull over someone for using brake Jake on Pine Street, say, if they couldn't prove to you that there's nothing wrong with their regular brakes, couldn't you give them a citation for it? For using a Jake brake according to our noise ordinance?
According to our noise ordinance, yes. However, basically, the way prosecution, MoDOT, and us has handled it in the past is because the use of the Jake brake is basically kind of from the state standpoint, a safety device, a braking device on the truck. When the truck needs to stop, it needs to stop. So if the police says you can't use it, then it could be a safety issue. Then that could be a fallback on.
Too hard to.
Right.
Well, then my question would be, is there any other way for them to come down without coming through a neighborhood?
Just shoot your cars up.
Oh, sorry. No trucks, like no trucks allowed or something,
I mean, you could put residential street only and like have specific truck route. But I mean,
That would have to be an ordinance adopted.
We'd be pushing it on Main Street though.
Now, I'm pretty sure you'd have to zone, I'm sure there's some sort of specific zoning of that street would be required.
Well, it doesn't, that one up there on W, MoDOT said if you have a noise control sign up and they Jake break, then you could give them tickets. That's what MoDOT told us.
Yeah, and
Aren't they an emergency thing only, a Jeep break?
they're,
Because that's all the signs you see.
It's
They're
emergency
for
brake.
emergencies only.
well, they help a truck when they're going down the hill loaded, so they don't burn their brakes and get them hot.
I thought that's what they had
But when you are,
transmissions.
we don't have any mountains around here,
Right.
and, you know, I've drove a truck before, and when you come over that big mountain on W, that's what, probably not very high, you go down there and the loaded trucks hardly ever use a Jake brake. It's these idiots that's empty. So that is not, they can be written a ticket for that, because that's not a safety device, because you're not even to use them when you're empty.
And they should approach the area
Yeah.
slower to begin with. where
But
they don't need to
again,
slam on
it's,
it.
W doesn't get patrolled, so. Unless you're shooting off fireworks, and then you get all kinds of cops out there. Just grabbing you, buddy.
I've got one last question. Could we, whenever you guys start talking about the city administrator, at least ask them to give us an explanation on why this is such a big deal now? To force an explanation on like why they want this now.
Yeah, you can.
I would appreciate
Good idea.
it. Just as a simple explanation, because we've been without one for over like 5, 6 years now.
Get their free-
We'll be talking about the administrator in the,
Exactly, yes. Yeah, give him an ultimatum. Yeah.
in, old business, the last thing,
Give
in
him an
old-
ultimatum that if he doesn't get the job, then he will
The
be
last-
fired and stop working in the capacity he does for the city.
Huh?
Me, not one.
definitely, the last thing in old business will be a city administrator they'll be talking about, and we have a speaker out as well for that.
I have a suggestion on the Pine Street truck problem. Up in the city, they have things called boulevards. You rename the street a boulevard, you put up a big sign that says no trucks, and then the trucks have to go down it.
Right, we could have an ordinance that restricts commercial vehicles from that street.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what they need to do. That would,
Because that's a fantastic shortcut for big trucks.
oh, well.
Well,
Then I think
now,
they'll pass the point.
It'll be up to the board.
although she has no idea what she's talking about, I mean, she's right that you can't do that. The corner
Yeah.
down here on Elm,
Right.
oh my gosh,
Right.
Stetson, you could be working your butt off on
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And she's gonna be mad at
It would
you
really
when she gets
hurt,
home
it
because
would
she's.
really hurt big truck traffic.
Yeah.
because That is really a
Yeah,
hard,
you're gonna
hard
make, you're gonna
turn
make,
over there.
it's gonna be a terrible corner down
Well, I hate the trucks on Pine too, because where it goes like this, they come over in your lane, and one of these days you're gonna hit
there.
somebody.
No, I agree with that, it's a bad corner for them, but that corner down here on Elm,
Yeah.
wow.
Take-
I
There's
told
somebody parked there, you're.
Take some of that
You don't
street
want
money.
it.
I will
and
speak from
bypass.
experience, you don't, I can speak from a little experience, you don't want to send all the trucks south on Elm to make 5 corners,
Right.
because
No, you
inevitably,
can't-
somebody's going to try to take a right-hand turn
You
on
can't
5
make
corners.
five corners,
I can tell,
but you
I
don't,
cannot tell you the amount of trailers
Yeah.
that I've worked, that have
Yeah.
dropped off, because it's a nightmare, it's a sharp
Well-
uphill right, you can't make that.
they can't do
No.
5 corners, and you also don't want them turning down there by the Mexican restaurant and following 17. It's
Well,
not
I mean
gonna work.
technically that is the state route.
Yes.
Right, but that corner,
Right.
Yeah.
it's,
But if you route, my, just thinking law enforcement side, if you mandate no trucks on Pine, you're gonna send everybody down south 17. They're not gonna, a lot of the truck drivers passing through the area aren't gonna know they need to make right on First. So
uh-huh,
they just think, oh, we're just gonna take this out south, get on our way, and they're either gonna have to try to figure out how to get through the subdivision at Webb Street, or make that right of it.
they've got 2 horrible choices
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, you're shooting them, I mean, those poor guys, I feel sorry for them. I drove too long.
Just.
So when you fix the streets, fix 5 corners, then you can do.
I have a
That was
question.
boring.
I
Then you
asked
can
this
pull people
about
out.
4 years ago. I have a tornado shelter on my property over in Washington. And I asked the city if they would start like a tornado registry, and nobody would ever do it. So I'm asking that again. Like, If a big tornado hit Mountain View like they did in Oklahoma, only my family would know where my tornado shelter is.
Yeah, good point.
But they only charge us $5 to put it in.
I mean, you know.
I don't know what for.
What do you mean $5 for?
They made us
I
pay
had to-
$5,
I had to get a
to put it in.
permit for my tornado
Oh.
shelter.
even though they never kept track of it or
Yeah.
anything, but they wanted their $5, I guess.
I like the tornado registry.
Because there is,
Duly
I mean,
noted.
nobody knows where that is, but
Yep.
then also like during tornado season or like if they're calling for tornadoes, you see lots of people on Facebook saying, who's opening up tonight, like churches or whatever. Nobody knows where to go in Mountain View for
We're
tornadoes.
getting that all put together much more organized now. Yeah, now that we have control over it.
But the registry would be nice.
Yes, yep.
Just in case.
Oh, no, that's a good idea. Yes.
Now, that wasn't nice, that wasn't nice at all.
Yeah.
You can never understand what they're saying.
Nope.
Oh, yeah.
Almost, I mean, I hear his voice, but I've never been able to figure out what they're saying.
Same here.
Especially in the middle of a storm, you can't hear nothing.
Yeah,
Or the all clear or anything, you know.
Yeah,
can't
I
understand
don't know. what
I
to
hear
tell
it
you.
fine where I live.
That's a very, very expensive system. I'm sure if we had gotten a grant, put it in. It is what it is. There's not much we can do with it.
All right.
Yeah.
Also, the boil water,
Boil order.
I can't say it all, but like I have an aunt that does dialysis. And if the city isn't under one, like she can't shower because like germs, or she doesn't have Facebook, so she doesn't know. So can anything like that be put on the news every time, or the radio,
It
or
is.
on the speaker?
I call KY3, I call Color 10, and I contact the local radio station along with Facebook. So I do put it out anytime that there is, since I've been here and I know that process was followed previously, so.
That couldn't be an alert like on the speaker or anything like that?
I don't know, I can ask,
I like
but I
that.
don't have any idea. I mean, I really don't.
Put that down. We'll
I
get
don't
Nick
know,
up.
but I can ask.
Nick's our emergency management director. We'll suggest that to him. I like that idea.
Okay.
He can put that in.
Pretty sure that's pre-programmed by the state.
I think it is, but I
Yeah.
don't.
I think he could do something about it, put it on there. Because the sooner you know the boil order, the better.
Run, Eddie, run.
Boy, Eddie, don't quit talking about you now.
Yeah.
Eddie's getting rid of it.
Eddie's here, we gotta change the subject.
I was gonna say, when they joke right down.
We've got 8 minutes left, what do you guys got? Yes.
Does the city have a website?
If I share with you.
No,
He's already gone.
Because
because
It's not set up.
it's not set up. Because,
Because the person that said they were setting it up never set it up.
it never, hasn't been set up. I think that office is too busy doing other things right now to retain jobs at City Hall instead of,
I do recall a conversation with one of the council persons early on when he was running for the office, that he was personally gonna get a website, so I just curious to know if there's been anything done.
yeah, I remember that too.
I do too.
And, nothing ever materialized.
Has he done anything else?
No.
It would be very helpful for the community if we had a city website. Then you could publish the documents that should be published, and you could publish the notices for the water
Absolutely,
problems, the electric problems, and the city news.
I agree, we'll make that one of our priorities as we go. Yeah, yeah. We'll try.
Hey, John, I got a question on that pool up there. You get a lot of comments about the pool and stuff. Why did we pay somebody to be up there all summer doing stuff when we knew that pool was not gonna open this year? That was a waste of city money.
What do you mean we
Yeah,
pay,
2 of them.
what do you mean pay people to be up?
You paid 2?
Oh, they stay busy, yeah.
But why?
Yeah.
The pool wasn't gonna open.
Getting everything ready, we're getting the floors epoxied,
Getting it ready for what?
For next spring. We were hoping to get it open for at least 1 month for a trial run, but due to the subcontractor problem that the contractor had, that didn't materialize. But we really could have, and should have had it open easily for a full month.
Oh, yeah, it should've been open all
That
year,
would have been our, well,
basically.
including construction, I mean, and it would have been a good trial run, so that everybody knows what to do, then next spring, it'd been a piece of
But so
cake.
we wasted that money for nothing.
No, they were busy doing things and organizing it to where next spring, they already know what they're gonna be doing, et cetera. We've got,
Are you saying right there that when it opens up, it's gonna be ready to go this
Yes,
spring?
sir.
You're
Yes,
gonna
I am.
guarantee that?
I can't guarantee
Yeah, 'cause
it.
it probably won't, Bill.
I won't guarantee it,
Now,
but
is it
we're
true
good.
that, if that pool isn't done in 3 years, that the grant that you guys got for that has to be returned back? Or no?
I don't remember the date. There is a date on it. There is a date. I don't remember that, but yeah, there's a date. It has to be finished. And we're well within
The
it.
community loves that pool, but it didn't get the attention, because I used to come to a lot of board meetings. It didn't get the attention it deserved when the money was there. The money got focused and pushed into the golf course. I remember coming here, and I can go back to the minutes and find it, where in 2 meetings, you guys funneled $100 grand into that golf course, buying golf carts, doing this, doing that, and not a nickel into the pool.
I believe
That, I mean, so it was misappropriating priorities that got that pool where it wasn't open. And it's not just your administration, it's a couple of them.
I agree with you, sir. Yeah, we've got 5 minutes left. Anything else up? Yes?
He brought up the golf course. Does the golf course create enough revenue to cover its expenses?
No.
No, it loses 6 figures a year.
Is there a reason that, I mean, what's the percentage of, do we know what their percentage of loss is over what their expenses?
Oh, yeah, it's all in the budget, definitely. What you gotta remember though, we're pulling out of a hole there, not only from COVID, but from, mismanagement of the course over the years, where it just continually went downhill, whether it's not money, whether it's not know-how, whatever, weather, et cetera. So it's on an uprise now, it's getting up
I understood
there.
it's really getting to be a nice course.
And we're hopeful that it's gonna do well, but it's a 5-year thing really. And we've got, just over a year into it, 2 years. I'm not sure if we got 2 years into it or not, close. But it's basically a 5-year thing to where it should be pretty good once 5 years are up. And it'll bring people to town, people spend money on for other reasons. It will, like it used to. It did 20 years ago.
That great big tournament every year.
Yes. Okay, we're about out of time, so I thank you, I appreciate it.
We thank you, John.
Sarah's got the notes. We're gonna let the council know what you guys feel about things that we discussed. And anyone who wants to stay for council meeting may. I'm not sure that you'll be able to talk like this because we've got work to do up there and you're observers. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, everybody knows. So, but thanks again, I appreciate it. We're gonna do this hopefully every single.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Please rise, prayer.
Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come thanking you tonight for giving us freedom to come out here and have this opportunity to take care of city business, dear Lord, and just watch over this meeting, dear Lord, and bless it, and just be with each one of us tonight to make good, sound decisions, dear Lord. We ask all this in your name, amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thanks everybody for coming. Would you do the roll call, please?
Alderman Vandermark,
Here.
Alderman Phillips.
Here.
Mayor Krzyzewski.
Here.
Alderman Coulter. Here. Alderman Anger.
Here.
Okay, we have the consent agenda up, and I need to make an amendment first off, you guys. I have a speaker that Dwayne Hockman wants to read.
recognize guests?
I did that already before when I skipped over the roll call. I think everybody should come. I reversed them. So anyway, Dwayne Hackman wants to speak today in regards to administrative position. So when that comes up, I'd like to amend it to add him to the list.
Okay.
And then you said something.
Due to personal reasons, effective immediately, I am actually going to resign as East Alderman. Just something I need to do to take care of me. So, I thank everybody for their gracious allowing me to be up here. And
Actually, you can't because that was my job tonight. No,
Think then.
no,
Oh,
to resign.
hold on one at a time.
No, we can't both do it.
Hold on one time. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so you don't even want to jump into the consent agenda because we really need to, what we need is the board to approve your, to accept your resignation, to make it official, because when you took the oath of office, it's perpetual, and we have to accept it, so we need a motion to accept Stephen Sills' resignation. Do I have a motion?
come on, guys.
I'll make a motion to accept Stephen Sills' resignation.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
And we have a second. As a further discussion, that's what you want to do?
Yep.
Anybody else have a discussion? All in favor, Bill?
Aye.
Brenda?
I'm not in favor of it at all.
You can say no? You can say no?
I mean, I just,
It's a yes or no?
no.
Murray?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your service. Appreciate it.
Still be around, I still can be when I can. Yep.
Call your name.
What's your name tag, sir? What's your name tag?
Get my name tag?
That's your only parting gift.
That's my only parting gift. Thanks. Not the headache.
You might want to let the city recycle that and make more money on them.
Yeah, they need every penny they can get now.
Okay, so we could proceed, we still have a...
We're going to proceed.
Pardon?
We are going to proceed.
That's what I said, we could proceed, we have a quorum, so we don't have a problem with that. Do you have a motion for the consent agenda?
Do you have anything else you wanted to add? Linda, do you have anything you wanted to add to the consent agenda? I'm good. I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda with changes of allowing Dwayne Hoffman to speak.
We have a motion, second?
I'll second it.
Second by Lindo. Discussion, all in favor, Lindo?
Aye.
Brenda?
Aye.
Murray?
Aye.
Motion passes. Consent agenda. And we start out with old business. Chamber to give an update. Chamber, Ricky.
I'll make it quick. I don't actually have my agenda. That was just called away unexpectedly. We don't have a whole lot going on for the month of November. We are coordinating our craft fair in December, which is going well. I think we've got quite a few vendors signed up for that. I believe Tabitha said we have over 30 people signed up for the parade, so that's going well. Better than expected, I think, anyway. So there's a lot of excitement there. We just had our luncheon today. Osgood's came in and talked about some classes they have coming up, a mentoring program. Talked about working with some of the schools possibly and working with them through the chamber. And short of that, not a whole lot right now going on until Christmas time starts. So get busy.
You guys have any questions for the chamber? Was that it? Today I was at the luncheon. Heck of a lunch.
Yeah. I mean, we like to see as many people there as we can, but it's, I think partly it's that time of the year, between deer season and the holidays starting. We don't get as many people in maybe as we would like to see, but overall, I think the luncheons have been going pretty good. We've had between 15 and 30 people there at a time.
I hope you guys can get something going with Osby, because being a satellite office here would be really cool.
Yeah, that's what they're planning to do.
Incubator.
Yeah, I think they've talked to Dee Dee Connor about possibly using her facilities for classes and such, and having some different workshops and things for some of the businesses, and possibly, like I said, working with some of the youth at the school. So that'll be having to talk to the board about that, see if they're interested in,
Cool.
like you were talking about.
That's all I like to hear. Thank you very much, Rick.
Yep.
Robin McCullough to speak about Buck Nelson Days, community schedules, center scheduling, and questions about the city budget.
Okay, Buck Nelson is moving right along. Still waiting to hear about what we're gonna do about porta pots, for sure. But Eddie said the trash would be taken care of. So moving along to that, the community center scheduling is still quite a problem. We managed to work out Veterans Day breakfast. It's not anybody's fault. It's not understanding how it works. If the blood center calls and says, we want to come do a blood drive on the 10th, the girls take and they mark blood drive and mark out the 10th. Not that they're not coming till 12:30, and the veterans breakfast is over at 10:30, cleanup is done at 11:30, and we were able to have both things at one time. This is the problem with the scheduling. If the money is a problem, there is a way for them to give a slip, come down here and pay it at a window. I mean, to me, that's a little ridiculous. But getting things done, and people want to come down on the chamber, why did we not have the Holly Jolly and the November and the December Christmas thing, which has been done as far as I know, except for the year of COVID, has been done in the city for the last 10 years. I've worked all of those except for one. We weren't able to do that because there was no booking time. Because all the Saturdays were booked up. So there was no priority for the chamber to go in and fix the few Saturdays that they normally do their things. We ran in this with the DNR Tuesday luncheons already. So that is something that the city, really, the council needs to address about what they're gonna do about it. Because what is being done does not work for everybody. And it is limiting the ability of the chamber to work.
Are you proposing a suggestion?
Yes, I'm supposing that we give the scheduling part, since the money seems to be the issue of collecting money somewhere else. And I'm not quite sure I understand that, because like Scotty collects money for the water and it's taken here. You guys have had the community center for, you know what it makes. It doesn't make thousands of dollars. Okay, if it's rented and the rentals are turned in every week to the city, you know how much money you're gonna get. There's no way, that's an accounting thing. There'd be no way for anybody to skim the money. If you know that if Tabitha has to report every week, this is what's booking, this is what, you know, if it's a 501(c) and there's no charge, or if it's a charge. I mean, we rent the youth center constantly. Sometimes we have 2 and 3 parties a day. Scheduling should not be a problem. Getting 2 or 3 things that are in a span of time of a day's period should not be a problem, but it is. So I'm proposing that you give the scheduling back to the chamber office And whatever system you want to work out for the money part, whether you have somebody bring a ticket down and pay their deposit at the girls at the window or whatever. If you don't want the chamber taking the money and then bringing it down daily or whatever, she's even willing to do that. That somehow or another, this scheduling conflict quits tying the hands of the chamber. Everybody wants the chamber to work, but then the chamber's hands are tied. And on that note, there doesn't seem to be a Christmas tree that belongs to the chamber and the community center. And I'm not sure where that problem is. They have three.
What's that?
Did we remove artificial Christmas
Are
tree?
you talking about the?
I'm not talking about the big tree that goes out front now.
Gotcha. So you're talking about like artificial?
Yes.
We didn't remove any that I'm aware of. Have y'all looked in that storage building out back?
No.
Okay. We might.
As far as I know, I
check
couldn't
there.
even get into it because we
I
tried
think-
every key in the world.
I think we put a new lock on that. So,
But anything that's been in there would not have been what was inside in the last couple of years, right? If nobody can get into it.
yeah, whatever's in there has been in there for a while.
A long, long time.
So I got in there before Pioneer Days, so I know I had to cut a lock off of it and we put I don't know what kind, we put a new lock on it. But yeah, I don't remember seeing a Christmas tree, but that doesn't mean there's not one in there. I wasn't
Well, I
looking-
know one of them
wasn't
that got
looking for
taken down as Trish was leaving and Tabitha in the, whatever, just got thrown in the back room. And I believe when Carla and all of them cleaned it out, it got thrown away. But where are the other two?
The other
And-
two, one was Carla's and one was Shannon's. They brought it in for the Christmas party last year.
No, I'm not talking about what they brought in, I'm talking about what was at the chamber before they ever came here. From Linda Lewis, Trish, Renee, those Christmas trees have always been there. All the decorations have always been there, they're just gone.
I mean, there could be one in there. I was looking for stuff related to Pioneer Days when I had it open, so I wouldn't, like I said, I wasn't looking for a tree, but it doesn't mean there wasn't one.
Okay, well, I'll come down there one morning and we'll look at that. All right, the last thing on my list is the city managers, the proposal or survey, petition, whatever you want to call it. To me, it was better, probably better words would have been a survey. In the town hall meeting tonight, I assume that the board members know that it costs the city of Mountain View $106,454 for the audit, the 2-year audit. How do I arrive at that place? $35,000 for the audit and over $70,000 to get the audit, to get things prepared so the audit could be done. And in that audit, the back page of that audit, has all the city council read that audit? Have you read that audit from front to back? Yes, no? The back
There's
page,
actually 3 audits. You only have one in front of you.
no,
and
I
it goes
have, I
back
have 2.
Okay, there's 3 audits. And yes, I have read them, but if you're going to assume that I did not, then we'll play that.
I didn't say,
No,
I
but I heard it
asked
from the
you.
audience back there. No, they didn't.
I asked you, have you
Okay.
read it?
But it's not mine as far as for the thing. What I'm doing, what I hear here is that you want something and that this is the way that you're going to go about getting it, is either by putting words in or accusations or pointing things into any of the members that are up here. Keep in mind, all we're trying to do is what's best for all. It isn't about popularity. It isn't about misinformation. It's about following the law and doing what is best for all. That's what this job is. That is what it is. That is something that just baffles me. I had a good friend of mine and a mentor tell me that in order to correct life things, you've got to get rid of the stuff. And all I hear is stuff. This is stuff. This isn't what affects everybody that's out there. This is personal things that come up that, hey, I want this. It's not just you, so don't think that I'm.
Oh, I'm
picking-
not taking it
And
personal.
don't.
I'm
By no
letting you
means.
finish, but you're on your time, not on mine.
That's perfectly okay. All right, because it is. Doesn't matter who it is, all it is it's pointed. So we're gonna do what it gets to get a certain thing across so I can get my way. And it doesn't matter what the position is that comes up in front. What our job is to base it out is that the best for everybody that's here? Not in this room, out there.
They don't have the information. That's
They
the-
don't have the information, that's what we're elected in here for. It's not a popularity that, hey, we don't like your decision on this, so we're gonna do what it takes to get you to change your mind. No, it's a balance to come across, to make something across. You don't like it? Vote us out. That's what the positions are there for. That's why every year it's a return.
I
Every
agree.
year,
There
there are
needs to
two
be
positions that are up, 1 year's 3.
But
That's what it's for.
The people of the city of Mountain View deserve to know that this $106,454 that was paid out for this audit, both 21 and 22, recommend, in their words, not feelings, not any other words, that they realize because of the limited resources and personnel, management may not be able to achieve proper segregation of duties. However, our professional standards require that we bring this lack of segregation of duties to your attention. And the limited number of available personnel prohibits segregation of incompatible duties, and the city does not have the resources to hire any additional accounting personnel. The top five, Murray, duties of a city manager, one of the top 5 is financial. My problem is, I don't have a problem with you hiring a city manager if they're versed in finance, if they're versed in management, if they have a track record. I have no problem with that, if the city can afford it. But according to this, and according to the credit of the city, if we have one more polar vortex, most of the common people do not know that we're paying on something, that the city is paying on something. And if we have another polar vortex, we may not get a deferment to make those payments. I work here, I spend my time here, I spend my money in Mountain View. I don't want to see the city go under.
So the polar vortex is the big thing, and so that way he brings back. Do you know why the council at that time, and I actually applaud them for doing that, because it's been some time.
They absorbed it.
No. What happened is that all of the community absorbed it for 10 years. Because if they moved out, the people that were here at that time period, that bill didn't go away. It still isn't going away. It's still here.
What if
We're
we have
still
another
paying.
one?
We're still, well, either we can do something with it, or it comes to the individuals to do it, which that would be the alternative. The individuals that had the bills would have been able to pay for it, or had to pay for it. That's what that was. It was a community that came together. The best for the community was that they absorbed it. And then as part of the absorption is that we had to pay for it as a community for 10 years. So that was a tough decision at that board at that time. That was a decision that wasn't popular, but it works. It isn't popular now. It's the same way with taxes.
You didn't have to change.
You can't change. It's
You
done.
didn't have to add it like Willow. You didn't have to add it to people's electric bill. That was a good thing.
That's right.
I'm not saying that's not a good thing.
But that
what
effect
if
is
we
still
have
being
another-
paid
If
for.
we make things any tighter on the budget, you know, who is the individual person that is putting forth a budget together? Who's maintaining this? Who's got the checks and balances? I spent 2.5 hours in this woman's office, and everything is mumbo jumbo. You ought to be able to read a profit and loss statement. You ought to be able to go in and say, this is what we have. This balance thing, this saying, I go by the checkbook balance.
Why were you in the office for 2.5 hours?
Because I have a right as a citizen.
You can request under sunshine, but you don't have a right to be in City Hall. Am I correct?
That is correct.
No.
Say that again.
That is correct. They don't just
That's
inherently
why
have
we
a right
hire
to do
a
that.
lawyer as far as for the city, to keep the city in with the laws. So same thing that I've gone to. Reason why we change what our ordinances are is because the laws change and we have to change ordinances to mirror. But
Okay, that was a
by
mistake,
that-
but what are you trying, is something
There's
hidden?
nothing as far as the hiding thing. You request information and then they can gather it and
And when you get budget sheets and worksheets that you can't read because of the way they're done and the way they're put together is why I went there.
So what you're
That's
telling
not
me
her
is
fault.
that we don't have confident people in City Hall.
I didn't say that.
That's exactly what you just
No,
said.
don't put words in
Oh,
my
no,
mouth.
but that's what you've come up and said. You just came up and said that you spent this and you didn't get the information that you wanted.
No, I did get it because I couldn't read it off the worksheets. You can't read stuff that is not in some kind of form. The audit's
By
in
the
some
way, I
kind
am
of
not
form.
saying that anybody in City Hall is incompetent. Do not take it that way, please, okay?
But
You know where
I'm
I
just-
stand when I'm with you.
This audit says the city does not have money to spend. And I do believe that the general public and the city and the citizens of Mountain View, Missouri are entitled to know that. And that is my belief, and I'm entitled to that.
Yes, you are.
Thank you, Robin. Bill 1380 to become ordinance 1746.
This is the second reading.
Second reading.
An ordinance amending the criminal and traffic code of ordinances for the city of Mountain View. Whereas the city council has determined that there is a need to amend the criminal and traffic code of ordinances of the city of Mountain View, Missouri. Be it ordained by the city council for the city of Mountain View, Missouri as follows, that chapter 2 of the criminal and traffic code of ordinances be amended as follows. Chapter 2, motor vehicles and traffic, Article 3, operation, Section 2-360, electronic communication device, use of while driving prohibited when citation of laws, defines school bus operation, prohibited acts, inapplicability when penalties for violations, search of device, right to decline preemption.
Do we have a motion?
This is the second reading, yes, by the way.
I'll
I did
make a
not
motion
pull
to
that out of the last
accept
packet.
Motion by Lindo. Do I second?
I'll second it.
Discussion?
This still goes into effect, I think, a year from now, but it has to be on our books because the state law changed, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you, Stetson.
And you can't pull someone over for that.
It's a secondary offense, so.
Yeah, and then it's just a warning, am I right? You can't fine them for being on the phone?
It's a warning until 2025.
Yeah, until then. Roll call vote.
Aye.
Brenda?
Aye.
Bert?
Aye.
Motion passes. Now we're going to discuss the airport HVAC bids that Eddie has for us.
So, in the, I've got one set of copies, you guys can pass it down. So, I put some money in the budget, I think I budgeted 4,000 for a new HVAC unit in there. You know, I like to try and start doing some small upgrades to that airport where we can afford it. There's some things that we're gonna have to do at that airport. We're running short on time, but one of them being that 10,000 gallon fuel tank underground. We kind of touched on that a little bit during the budget process. I put 40,000 in for the removal of that, because last time I got a quote on it was around 35,000. That was 2 years ago. We know everything went up. Now, I left that in the budget, you know, I didn't take that out, whenever we passed that 6-month budget. But I did have an outfit reach out to me. I think we could get it done for about a fourth of what I budgeted. So, which it'll be a lot of our guys doing the work, but this other outfit can oversee it. Is with the removal of that, you do it right the first time, you don't have any problems. But if you do it wrong, you're gonna be dealing with DNR and EPA for quite some time. So I like the idea of our guys doing it as long as we've got someone else to oversee the project. But anyhow, I'm kind of chasing a rabbit down the road here. what I'm hoping to do is, since I only put 4,000 in there for the repair and maintenance building, my bids come out a little bit more than that. Since we had budgeted the 40,000 for the removal of the fuel tank, that I'm probably not gonna get done, I'd like to be able to shift another 1,000, give or take, over into the repair and maintenance building to cover this lowest bid. So the unit we've got in there right now,
Are all those bids comparable? Because I seen that the second one actually had more detail.
yeah,
It's a couple
no,
$100 more, because I'm not worried about the tax, because we don't
Yeah.
get that, but
they did, I believe, all three of them.
210.
The lowest bid, I had to reach back out to them because there was an issue with the warranty. And, because I wanted the bids to be comparable. And I got everything squared away with that. So, you know, they're talking 10-year warranty on the equipment. I think the low bid was actually 5-year on labor. The next one up was a 1-year on labor, 10-year warranty on parts. But the unit we've got down there right now, there's no air. The heat has been running on emergency, so it's been costing us quite a bit of money just to keep it heated so we don't freeze and bust pipes in there. And when the pilots come in the summertime to get fuel, because I try to keep our fuel the cheapest around, you know, we'll pull pilots 200, 300, 400 miles off course just to get fuel. And Wayland down there has been working with the Facebook page for the airport, been advertising some of the smaller businesses around town, you know, the restaurants. We've had people flying in just to eat. So it would be nice if we had a lounge that would accommodate them. If it's hot, they're coming in to get fuel. A lot of times, somebody has a wife and their kids with them. It'd be nice to have a cool building to go into while their husband's fueling up the plane, you know. And it's just just a small step to try and update our terminal a little bit as we go along. I've got several other ideas I'd like to do with that terminal. I'd like to maybe look into putting this, we've already got internet there. If we go ahead and put in a smart TV, you know, let the pilots sign into their own Netflix or Prime account, whatever, and watch some TV while they're on a layover, because we do have some jet pilots sometimes that come in and gotta kill some time. So, but I just want to try and improve it where we can afford it. And my deal is, if we don't hold off, we're coming into winter time, we'll be trying to heat it with electric strips one more winter. I think this will be the 3rd or 4th winter on emergency heat. So you gotta add all them winters up, it's probably gonna pay for this new unit. And also give them air conditioning in the summertime. Kind of help cut back on our mold too. If we can control the humidity in there, we can control mold, so. But, I don't know, do y'all have any questions about any of it?
Yeah, you're trying to convince us of what we need, but we did that at the last meeting, we agreed to go get bids, so we really need to be convinced of which bid to pick.
Well, I mean,
Which one do you suggest? Are you recommending?
looking at the warranty, you know, they're all 10-year warranty, they're all comparable on size. And I tried to, you know, all the guys I met with, I tried to make sure they were all bidding on the exact same thing.
What's the SEER of the first one? Because that's the only thing I didn't see. It's up there, it's over there.
Right here, Eddie.
I've got one here.
Mhm.
Well, let's see,
Because I've seen the SEER rating on both of you, and that's your
14.3.
efficiency.
a 14.3 and a 14, so. So on the lowest bid of the two, I got two, I got a 14 plus, and then in parentheses over there, 13.3, and on the other two, I had 14.3. So, I mean, honestly, looking at it, I would say I would say a little bit, honestly. I mean, that's my suggestion, totally up to you all. And for me, I mean, really, the tipping point,
Murray was the one, because you got that.
The other one was just 200 more, but I'm more, he's the one in the field, that's where I'm gonna get my information from. I was just asking, make sure we're comparing apples to apples.
Yeah.
yeah, and I was trying to, you know, when I was meeting with them or discussing with them, I tried to have them all bid on the exact same thing. So that way our prices would be as comparable as possible. One of them was way up there, and the other two were pretty close. And really, I mean, for me, the tipping point on the two lower price would probably be, one was a 1-year labor and another was 5-year labor. So typically in that first 5 years, you're not gonna do a whole lot with it. So, I mean, but that would be my choice, so.
So we need a motion. I'll make a motion, we go with the lowest bid. To purchase
Woolsey for 5,000.
Yes, $5,000.
I second.
Do we had gotten bids, should we announce all the bids? Should we announce them?
You don't have to, you just need to announce the bid that
Okay.
you're recommending and accepting.
Okay, so you've made a motion to accept.
The Woolsey's. I'm making a motion to accept the bid from Woolsey Heating and Air for the city of Mountain View for a guarding equipment by York for the airport, and the total amount of the quote is $5,000, and it's a 10 years parts and 5-year labor warranty on it.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
Any further discussion? Vote?
Aye.
Brenda?
Aye.
Motion passes. Award the bid. Next one, council to discuss city administrator position. Would you like to come up and speak now, Dwayne?
First off, I don't like to talk with the people behind my back. I want to hear what I say. It's unusual for me to do this, but first off, I was raised here. I've been in business at the lumberyard for 59 years. I've served on the school board. I've been on a lot of committees for the city, and I spent 24 years here on the council. And I think I know a little bit about how the city should operate. And first off, the mayor's job, the mayor has an authority that the city council gives him. But it's not the mayor's job to run the city. It's not the council's job to run the city. It's not the department heads to run the city. Although we do have some good department heads, they just need someone to lead them and to guide them on them. Now, anybody that says that we don't need a city manager, it's because they don't understand how the city operates. And anybody that says that we can't afford a city manager, you can't afford not to have one. We learned a long time ago, if that position is not saving the city enough money and bringing in enough revenue, then they're not doing their job on it. Now, if you look around to all the communities around us that's doing anything at all, they have a city administrator on it. So, I trust the mayor and the city council to come up with somebody. I'm not here to advocate for anybody. I'm here to advocate for the position, because we cannot continue to operate without one. I've been down that road before. I know what can happen. Bud's sitting back there, he knows too. So we can either gripe all we want to, or we can all come together and try to do something what's right. So again, I trust the council to do what's right.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Who was city administrator in 1995?
I have no idea.
1990?
I have no idea. I don't know the names, I just know what happened. I know what can happen, I've been there.
Well, I mean, did we have one?
Huh?
Did we have one?
No, we didn't have one in all of that time, but when we were, I guarantee you, you go back and check, when the city was progressing, we did have one. I guarantee you.
Thank you, Dwayne. Mr. Hodges.
Again, I trust the council to do what's right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, it's up to you guys, what do you guys have to discuss about the administrator position?
I just think everybody's taking it personal, and my goal is to do what I was hired for, and that is to do the best thing for the city. And I've done some research, I haven't done a lot, and I'm not able to do what I want to do since I got this position, because the job I had before, I had a lot more time, but my daughter had to shut down her trucking company, so I have another job now, and I'm gone at 5:45, I don't get home till 5. So I'm in West Plains all day. So what I have done research on is I feel that nobody's not doing their job. I'm not saying anybody should be fired. I'm just saying that a city administrator, the right one, yes, there has been bad ones, but the right one could do wonders for our city. And yes, it's gonna cost, but I think if you invest correctly, you're gonna come out ahead. And that's all I can say, is I'm not doing it to make anybody mad. I'm not doing it to say I've got, that is not my reason for this. My reason is I want what's right for Mountain View. I want Mountain View to grow like the other communities around us. And that's all I got to say.
Where are you gonna find this city administrator?
We're not open for discussion right now, sorry. Jeff, do you have something else to add to that?
We need to move forward on the applicants.
What do you have in mind?
We need to interview we need to complete the interview that we discussed in the last interview session at the end of it, and we need to go forward with another interview.
We need to do our second interview.
Correct.
In light of the responses we've had, is what I'm asking the three of you. How do you feel about what the points they're making, what the meetings they've had, what the public is saying to us, and what the audit have stated to us on it? And also keeping in mind, from my point of view, and I'm in City Hall almost every single day, and the other people that are there every single day, 40 hours a week, that we're already getting the job done, just without the title. Keep that in mind, the money you want to spend on this, and shoot, we've got it done, we've got it covered. There's no miracle workers out there. We've interviewed people, there's no miracle workers came to apply.
I don't think that, I think you're a little swayed is the big thing, because even by testimony here tonight, it's not showing that something is not. If it took 2.5 hours to pull up reports, then something isn't exactly right in going forward.
That's G-Works, and we can't afford to change that. We're not going to, no administrator better even try to change our G-Works. It took years to get that squared away, and a lot of money invested. We're not changing that. And no one, almost no one in this room can understand G-Works when you jump into it. It will take hours and hours, if not 40 hours, to understand it, and then pull what you want out of it. For our treasurer to understand what the person came in to ask and what she got out of her, it would take 2.5 hours. In fact, that was pretty good timing, I'd have to say, to understand that. But according to all the accounting practices and the money we invested in that computer setup, We do not want to change it, trust me.
I didn't say change it.
That's what we'd have to do. It's the only, an administrator would have to change that. There's no way, there's no miracle worker. I meet with other administrators, met with them last week, as a matter of fact.
I'm not
I
up
meet with
here
other
to
mayors.
keep everything happy. I'm up here as far as for doing what is best for the majority, period. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat it or anything
That's
else.
fine.
I feel that we need to continue on with the second interview of the candidates that were there. Both of them actually have experience in that realm.
Yep.
One of them point blank said, listed it by name. So,
Nope, sorry, we don't.
Eddie does a
Here's-
great job.
here's
Yeah, why
my-
not, if it's a
sorry,
matter of a
sorry,
title,
we're
why
not-
don't we
we're
make
not-
Eddie
we're not-
the city
we're not-
administrator?
We're not, sorry, we're not. Anyway, Murray, I have, and I will not read them at this time, but I have the notes as to our first
Yeah.
interview with all three persons. And to be honest with you, none of them qualified according to the qualifications that you guys put forth. None of them. I'm not saying none of them could learn it, but none of them qualified for a municipal job that we're asking them to do. And I could embarrass everybody right now and read these, what came out of that. But it was in closed session, I'll leave it there, but you guys were there. And if you want later in closed session or something, I'll debate them with you all night long, no problem. But no one is qualified according to what we put out there. None of them have got that experience.
But that's
One
one
was
person's
close.
opinion.
Pardon?
So that's one person's
We
opinion.
appreciate
Oh,
your opinion.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's not only an opinion, it happened to be a professional opinion. It's experienced in this for a lot of years, decades.
And I'm not
I'm
saying you
here
don't
to
have
do what's
experience,
right.
but we've all got an opinion.
Yeah, I'm here to do what's right for the city, regardless of my personal opinion. This is not my personal opinion.
I
This
was-
is my professional opinion,
I
which is
was-
about to tell you that I'm speaking right now. So, with my professional opinion, which is, should weigh a lot, I'm not saying we don't need, shouldn't have a manager, a administrator. I never said that. When I ran for office, I said, we need one. We should have one, I should say. I thought we needed one and we should have one. But if you guys would just take the blinders off, look around, none of the applicants are miracle workers, none of them. There aren't very many out there anyway. But we have not only been doing everything that an administrator could and would do for our city up to this point with the funds and the revenue, et cetera, that we have going out, coming in, and the expenses we have going out. The City Hall has done a fantastic job. City employees all through the city have done a fantastic job. We've got our operations manager doing almost every single thing that you guys put on the this is what you guys requested in the qualification sheet. Almost every single thing, and he's been doing it. I've been backing him, and so has office staff at the City Hall. The learning curve's long past. He's carrying it out, we're doing the job, we're getting it done. We're not paying an extra $60,000 plus whatever. If you guys really would think about it, in-house, already getting it done. If you want to change his title, fine. If you want to give him a raise for that new title, great. But let's not start going against our own $100,000 investment right here. Says, they recommend, do not, in fact, more than recommendations, just do not hire. We cannot afford it. It's right in there, black and white. To hire more, any of our office staff. It says it right there. And that's a pretty important thing there too. That's not my opinion. That's not their opinion. That is what they're hired to do. And we have it going. We have it going. It's done. Countless times, this board has, I have asked this board, all four of them at the time, what is missing, what's not getting done. I've got my notes still. Every time, you came up with 5 good points, and we debunked every one of those. The only one that I could not debunk with you guys and settle out was we don't have a certified financial consultant. We don't. None of us in City Hall are certified financial consultant. Why don't we this is my suggestion, why don't we just, if you want, change the title to Eddie, we got him in-house, he's already working here, he's hired, we don't even have to do an interview. We all know he's capable because he's doing it. He's been doing it for over a year now. But if anything, hire a consultant on a consultant basis when we need them. A certified financial consultant. They can sit here, debunk what G-Works says this, says that. They can bring it to you guys and explain to you in layman terms, et cetera, exactly where we're at every time. Every month, we can pay them whatever their fee is when we need them. Not full-time anything. We're disrupting the whole ship. Right now, everything is running good. It's been running good for quite a while. Even the bumps that come up, they've been handled. They'll always come up. It'll be handled. Okay, now what did you want to say?
I just, as far as my opinion, this is my opinion, we had 3 individuals that was, I felt like, in my opinion, was amazing in their qualifications. They come in way under what I thought they would need for a salary. Every one of them had a vision for our city and how to move it forward. And I just feel like that, I'm like Murray, I think we need to do a second interview and move forward with it, because I just feel as a city as a whole that it's gonna benefit our city so much more and get us to where we need to be. And that's not just here, that's out in the community, that's the people calling me in the night, it's business owners. You know, I don't care who we get in, but I just think any of those 3 would be great. So my opinion is to go ahead and do the second interviews and see where it goes from there.
Okay, so you're dismissing the fact that we already have an in-house employee doing that job. You're dismissing that completely.
I just said it was my opinion, John.
Well,
You
no,
gave me
that's what
your
I'm saying.
opinion.
In your opinion, you're dismissing the
Nope,
fact that we have it done.
I think the benefits of a city administrator far outweigh than, even though we've got somebody there as Eddie. Eddie, I feel like Eddie has got a lot on his plate right now. And I don't know that Eddie can put a lot more on his plate when he gets to dealing with a lot of this stuff. That's my opinion, I don't know. That would be a question for Eddie. But he may be more than qualified, I don't know. But he didn't throw his name in the hat either, so.
Yes, we did. But, okay, it isn't a question for Eddie, it's a question for the staff. I'm part of that staff. You're part of the staff, you're the board. It's for us. He not only is qualified, he's been doing the job for a year and nothing's fallen through the cracks, everything's getting done. How much qualification do you need then, proving up front for over a year he's got the job done? He doesn't have too much on his plate. He's not getting more on his plate because the only thing you guys are wanting to do is give him a title. He's still doing the job.
This is not a title.
He's been doing it.
Yes,
That's
This
all
is
it
not
is.
a
Oh,
title.
no, it is. He's doing the job. He's got the job.
Eddie's job was on operations.
That-
This is
that's the title.
administrative. No, it's not. It is the operations. He deals with it. So if you want to break down, because you love comparing us to West Plains. So West Plains has a city administrator, and they have 3 operation managers.
I met with him
Three.
the other day, yes.
Operation managers.
West
3 of
Plains.
them. West Plains.
You're gonna compare us to West Plains?
You do, all the time. Yes, you do. They have 3 operation managers that are there, because operations is that damn important.
Oh, yeah, there's 17,000 people almost there, 15,700.
So the 2,600 people we have here doesn't matter as much?
Yeah, he's got it under control.
Operations.
He's got all of it under control though. I'm sorry, he's doing it all. He's already doing it all, Murray. He is
I
doing it.
make a motion that we go forward as far as with the interviews of the 2 that we picked as far as during closed
I
session.
Do we
second.
have a second?
I second it.
We have a second. Is there further discussion? You guys are I'll discuss with you, of course, which we expect. You're wasting the time of those 3 individuals because this time I will come back with all of the problems with the 3 and the virtues, of course, as well. And when you start trying to weigh that out without taking Eddie into consideration, you're gonna be left empty. He doesn't have to, he works here already, he's doing the job.
He had to come.
If the guy's already pumping gas, you don't need an application to come and pump gas. He's the one pumping the
Getting an
gas.
application.
I did not call for roll.
But
You
you're
guys have to quit,
discussing,
you have to quit talking about an
We're
employee in
discussing-
front of the employee
I'm
in
in
public session.
discussion, I'm in discussion.
No, you have to stop talking about personnel in open session.
Oh, personnel.
He is personnel. You are talking about him, his job performance. He's right there. This is
I'm not
open
talking about his
session.
performance, that says he's doing his job. He's doing his
That's
job.
talking about his job performance.
Well, they're
you need to
trying
stop
to
doing that in
replace
open
him, and
session.
he's doing the job.
I'm just telling you, you need to stop talking about employees in open session.
Eddie, can you write out on a piece of
I'll
paper, I
take
want
that
the city
under advisement.
administrator job?
I-
And list your
You think I'm
qualifications.
talking about his job? I don't understand it, though.
Okay?
Can you explain that to me better?
You are naming an employee by name and detailing whether or not he is doing his job. That is talking about an employee's job performance in open session.
Okay, thank you.
Which then means if anybody wants to disagree with you, even though everything you're saying is positive, if anyone wants to disagree with you, they are also going to have to do that in open session,
Okay,
which
thank
we
you.
cannot do.
All right, thank you. That's good. Okay, I like, that's what you're there for. I appreciate that. So anyway, we have an operations manager doing that job at this time, doing the administration job, period. Already proven. Now, he has to, should be taken under consideration, period, for that job position. But when you find out that you, all three of these have potential, oh, I like all three of the guys, they have potential. But we're not in a training session here, we're not gonna give them a year to learn the job, or learn G-Works, et cetera. We've already got someone in a position that's doing that job, and you wanna replace him with someone else with another fee, yes? Brenda, I haven't heard from you, Brenda, what was the deal about it?
I'm not, never, ever have I said, or anybody on this board said that they want to replace Eddie. I have never heard.
his name up.
Ever, nobody say that. So, I don't know where you're getting that
I just said it.
information. Yeah, so you're the one that thinks
Yeah.
that we need to.
Oh, I don't think that, I said it. I said, you guys are willing to take his job away from him. He's doing that job right now. That operations manager is fulfilling the administrator's job right now. He really is, this is a benefit. You guys should be great, you should be applauding, you should be saying, wow, we don't have to spend $60,000. We have someone already doing a job and has proven himself. But you want to interview someone else to bring them into the city, spend more money that we're not supposed to do according to our own financial audit we spent all the money on. That was my spiel. Roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, schedule it. So, what schedule, when do you want to do what?
I could do it Tuesday of next week.
It's Thanksgiving week, the Tuesday after, please.
Yeah.
Does Eddie even want the job?
6 p.m.
Eddie, do you want the job?
He already has the job, but we're not discussing it.
Oh, I'm talking about the title.
You said it was the 28th, Sarah?
Remember we were talking about it, we haven't heard what he has to say.
What do you guys come up
What
with?
did he got to say?
Come up with a date? 28th of November? So that would be strictly a meeting that, for interviews,
Tuesday.
The top two.
everybody in agreement that date, good? Everybody, 28th? So be it.
Who will notify those two?
I did it last time, I mean,
Okay.
I called him, the three interviews before.
Okay. Okay, on new business. Ashley Allen with the Youth Center to discuss renewing electric contract between city and Youth Center.
Center. I joined the board to get involved, and a couple months later, I got voted in as the president. So bear with me. It was just brought to my attention that we had an electric contract, and it apparently expired in June of 2022. So I'm just reaching out to see if this is something that we can maybe put back into effect.
Does anybody have it where it's written out?
It's in your packet.
Oh, okay. So you guys have seen it?
It's the one listed.
It says old on the very top. I see.
Yeah.
I see that.
And that was done over back in the 20.
Yeah, I think they started doing it in 20. And we found minutes where it was done, I think, in 22, but it wasn't done in 23.
I remember seeing another individual doing the same thing after that, so I know it was done since then, so.
Almost our entire board is new.
Yeah.
So somewhere in the mix of all that. it
Was
didn't
Ricky,
get
were you on the board back then?
I was there for the last time we renewed it, so it was just, it's $7,000, which goes, I can't tell you how far that goes for the youth center. And it was a credit against the electricity, so it wasn't the city paying us. It was just a credit to offset the electrical charges up to 7,000. And once it hit 7,000, we paid the remainder for whatever period of time it was. And part of the agreement was coming here and, showing financials and sharing with you what the youth center does and whatnot.
So will you be the one coming and giving updates or what you say?
It would probably be either me or our director. Sydney Burton is our director. Sydney Burton. Foster, sorry. Sydney Foster. Burton was a name.
About the
It
only,
definitely is huge, a huge help for the youth center.
about the only thing I would like to see maybe change on that contract, because I figure y'all was probably strong considering the credit like you have been doing. So our guys have been mowing and trying to keep it weed eated around there. Would it be possible, I mean, our guys can mow it, they can knock that out when they're done, the cemetery, whatever. Would it be possible, because I know y'all have that big, I don't know if you call it flower bed, just that planter out front. So would it be possible that maybe one of the members or board members or something could do the weed eating and
Oh,
trimming
yeah,
around there, and then we could handle the mowing?
Yeah, I think that could be done, no problem.
Okay, because I know originally that was, kind of laid over on the parks to do the mowing and the trimming of it. Last time it's trimmed, I did it, and it takes a while.
Yeah,
So-
for sure. Yeah, I think we could definitely
There's
do
something we
that.
have to do as far as the January budget.
Do we have a
Can't-
motion?
We can't
And then
amend it.
discuss it.
I'll make a motion that we extend the service contract for $7,000 to the youth center towards electric
Do a second.
for,
Oh, sorry.
for 2023, 2024.
I started off with a budget of January, starting with 24,
Okay,
because that's what this corresponded with, as it went in with the budget.
yeah, because we need to do that. All right, I'll make a motion that we extend the service contract as of January 1st in the new budget for $7,000 towards electric for the youth center.
Got a second?
Oh, no, go ahead.
I second.
Brendan, second. Any further discussion?
I'll have to get you guys a resolution to do that. It has to get a new resolution every time, so.
So we can't do it as a motion, it has to be a resolution
Yeah,
because it
because
affects the
John will have to
budget.
sign it.
Go ahead and have you do a resolution now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
that will work. Thank you very much. We'll get council to review statement of qualifications for street improvement projects. We have Holt and Smith and Company. Holt or Totes? What? Huh? Sarah, is it, huh?
Totes.
it's okay. That's all right. Say it wrong. For the grant that we're working on the street improvements, we had to take an engineer, and both of these are the only two that we put out the bid on requests for qualifications, RFQs, and these are the only two that responded. And Smith and Company has worked for the city many years ago. They come well recommended from past people working with them. And Toth is working with us presently on Oak Street. And our recommendation from the city is basically to stick with Toth while they're here. Their guys can just go ahead and smoothly transition into the grant for the streets, because they'll be working here on the street for the next, 6 months? Till spring anyway.
That's just the engineering side though, right?
Yeah.
That's just the engineering, is all we've been approved for so far.
Yes.
So it won't be their guys that are working, it'll just be their engineers.
Yes.
Eddie, do you have any objections?
I don't,
Which would you rather work with?
Toth has been very good to work with so far.
Okay.
So, yeah, I have no complaints.
Entertain a motion for which you like to choose.
I think that we ought to stick with them if they're already here.
That motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion.
To stick with them since they're already here.
To accept Toth.
We have a second.
I don't know.
I'll second.
Second, and further discussion?
Aye, or no, I don't
Oh,
know.
further discussion, okay. Vote.
Sorry about that. Aye. Brent Brazil, sorry.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, that takes care of most of the business. And then here we go again, mayor's minutes. Never ends. I appreciate that we had a good turnout for the pre-meeting, the town hall meeting before our meeting, which will hopefully continue for our regular scheduled meetings. I'd like the input from everybody in town. I value it highly. Hopefully the council will listen and value what you have to say too and pick up on pointers. I do, we have our notes from the meeting, we'll go over all that stuff. That's great. As far as the council's concerned, I regret that Stephen had things come up that he resigned, but we'll get along, we'll appoint a new person in there as soon as we can, that's not a problem. I do want to say that, I believe we're going to have a closed session, as far as I know still, as far as I know where we're going, that publicly, I did have, that I hope the council will take into consideration of this, everything they've heard, the outcry they've heard from everyone, the survey they've gotten, the sense they're trying to get across of what we're doing, where we're at, take everything into consideration about this whole idea of hiring somebody from outside and paying an extra salary that we're not supposed to be able to do. So if they would consider, at this time or any time, tabling it indefinitely, the administration thing, or waiting, tabling it for maybe even the next budget, next election, whatever you want to do is fine. Or acknowledge Eddie, give him a title, maybe even a raise. That's all I have to say. I'm not taking public comments because we do that at our town hall meeting beforehand. This way it speeds up our meetings. So thank you all for coming.
I have something for good.
You guys have
I have something.
okay, anything for better, for the
good of the order.
Good of the order.
Thanksgiving is coming up next week. A lot of visitors coming in, families and stuff. Spend time at home. I'm so glad that we didn't have any incidents or accidents in the woods for opening season. That's always a big concern as far as for mine. And then Christmas is right around the corner, so we're gonna be seeing a lot of little ones out and about, so let's keep an eye as far as on the streets and stuff too. I've seen more and more children out though wearing dark clothes, so please encourage other people to make sure they look out for the rules. Thank you.
I got a question. On the 24th, the day after Thanksgiving, do we normally, is that a,
It's been in the handbook for quite some time.
Okay.
Is it already a
It's off.
day?
okay, I want to make sure before we got out
I
of
would
it.
have brought
City
it up
offices
had it
are
not.
closed.
I didn't figure you'd mind an extra day off.
You wanna mention the tabling of the Oak Street project until late February,
Yep.
early March?
Due to the weather and supply concerns, what's their names? Quadri. HR Quadri is the contractor putting in Oak Street here. They had to postpone the whole project until February, middle February. They're gonna start back up on it and hopefully have it done by
He's hoping for around April 1st. but
April 1st, so let's say
all
May
depends on the
1st.
rain. Yeah.
Give it some time. But, so this street will not be shut down as it was supposed to be. It will, starting this week, as a matter of fact.
Supposed to be, yeah.
So we have a reprieve there until spring. We shouldn't hurt anything else there. Okay, all set, you guys? Do we have a motion to go to closed session?
I make a motion for us to go into closed session
Pursuant to,
pursuant to
it's on your front page. Down the very bottom, RSMO.
Oh, right here.
Yes, ma'am.
RSMO 610-021, subsection 3. What would I do?
And do we have to specify what it's for?
That's what the subsection 3 does.
Say it again?
That's what reading that section does.
Yeah, but that doesn't do any good for them.
I mean, you don't have to specifically say what it's to talk about, it just, you just
Yes,
need
you do.
a subsection.
Yeah, I think you
We
do.
have to
I
say
mean, you
what-
don't
what it
have to
concerns.
specifically say
We
to
don't.
talk about personnel and blah,
Yeah,
blah, that's what
right.
that subsection addresses.
Right, yeah, that's what we want to hear, what we're doing. We're gonna talk about, so what are we doing? It's to talk about personnel, et
That's
cetera.
personnel.
Okay.
But
This
that's
way, they
subsection
have an
3.
answer, we don't wanna leave them in the dark. They walk away saying, RSMO who? They're gonna talk about RSMO over there. Okay. We have that motion,
I'll second it.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're gonna take a few minute break, but we're gonna go into closed session.